Okay, we shall continue Bezrat Hashem. We shall continue Melachim. سفر ملاخیم رو شروع کردیم. We shall continue سفر ملاخیم. ببینید جوری که من میرم چندین پسوک رو میخونم اول کار که مقدار چند تا پاسخ خونده شده باشه، دن میریم و الابریت میکنیم روی پاسخیم. بکنم اینجوری خیلی برای همه بهتر باشه، برای همه بهتر باشه و بتونن بیشتر متوجه بشن. اوکی، پس ملاخیم با این شروع میکنه که به همه ملخ داوید زاقن با بیامیم و خسو و بگادی بروی خملو. میفرماید که و ملخ داوید زاقن با بیامیم پیر بود، سال خورده بود، با بیامیم سال خورده بود و خسو و بگادیم. They try و خسو who they try to cover him به بگادیم. They try to cover him به بگادیم garments, right? It was very cold and they were trying to cover him with garment, and it didn't help. But he did not become warm. Whatever that they tried with the begotten, they become warm. They told him to. They told the Melech, the servants, we should search. Let's search for our master, the king, Na'ara Betula, a young virgin. Young virgin, Rashi says young virgin because Betula hits up a person. One and she should stand in front of the big king and she should be for the king attendant of the king, and and should lie in your bosom, and it will be warm for our master king. Very good. They searched in Na'ara Yafa, in Na'ara young, Yafa, beautiful girl, Israel, throughout all of the border of Israel, and they found a girl called Avishag Ashunamit, and they brought her to the king. And the young girl was very beautiful, very pretty, and she became attendant for the king. And she served him. But Hamelech didn't have any relationship with her. He didn't have any intimate relationship with her. It's very good. Till here, then we're going to go to the next piece. Therefore, the first piece, the Navi starts. This is almost 4 pesukim of the Navi. Okay, start of the Navi. Therefore, Navi starts with Hamelech David Zaben Baba Yamin. Sometimes we say David Hamelech. Sometimes we say Melech David. Sometimes we say Paro Melech Misraim. Sometimes we say Melech Misraim Paro. Now, whoever learns Navi or Torah, he knows that there's a difference between the way that Torah talks. If Torah says Melech Paro Melech Misraim, there is a Hamelech David Zagen Baba Yamin. In other words, when you say David Hamelech but Hamelech David, there's a big difference. Not the same. It's not the same. In Torah, it's not the same because, in other words, whatever that you say first, that's the thing that you are putting it doggish. You are putting stress. In other words, if you say Hamelech David, you are referring to the authority of this man, this person, as a Melech, then it's David. The first priority is the kingship, then is the person himself, David. Say David Hamelech, the first priority is David. David as a personality, as a person of David. Then authority of the king. Now Navi here says the Hamelech David. Now Navi also starts with Vav. It starts with Vav to say is the connection from Shoftim. In other words, we learn so far Yehoshua. The first Navi is Yehoshua. Then Yehoshua after Moshe Rabbeinu. Then we have the judges. Shoftim is judges. All of the judges went through till Shemuel to Eli. And then we had the king, Shaul, the first king of the Melech, and his son, and then David. Now Vahamelech David, Vav is connection. Just like we had the Melech, now we are continuing. Ve. That's the first Ve here. Vahamelech David, in other words, when we say Amelech David Saben, the authority of David became old. In other words, not only David as a king, not David as a person, but the authority of David, Zaken, became old, became weak. And now, how old was it? He was 70 years old right now. In other words, he was king for 40 years. In other words, very interesting, the number of 40. David was 40. Because of that, David is Chai V'Kayam. The embryo takes 40 days. That was the embryo of the Malchut. David created 40 years. And he was 30. Now, there's a Midrash. The Midrash says, why David HaMelech was Zoche to write the Sefer Tehillim? It was such a Zechut, such an authority to write all of the Sefer Tehillim, and Sefer Tehillim become the book for Kahal Israel to learn through anything that happens to them. In other words, Sefer Tehillim becomes the Sefer that Kahal Israel reads and Kahal Israel enjoys at the highest moment of their life and the lowest moment of their life. Now, the Midrash says, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed, Zeh Toldat HaAdam, in Sefer Bereshit says, Zeh Toldat HaAdam, everything, Dr. Ellis, everything goes towards the Sefer Bereshit. It says, Zeh Toldat HaAdam, the Midrash over there says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed Adam Arishon all of the Toldat, generation of Adam. From Adam Arishon, going on and on and on. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed everything to Adam Arishon. All of a sudden, Adam Arishon sees David HaMelech dies as a baby. As soon as he's born, he dies. He doesn't have any zechut and merit for life. Very interesting. Unbelievable. David, in the word Chai V'Kayam, in reality, he didn't have zechut to live. This neshama didn't have zechut to live on earth. And the Midrash says, Adam Arishon daven and pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, I want to give life to this. He says, it doesn't have life. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I like to pray to you. You take away 70 years of my life and give it to him. So Adam Arishon prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that should give 70 years of my life. That's why Adam Arishon lived 930 years. He was supposed to live 1,000. He gave 70 years of his life to David HaMelech. And for David lived for 70 years, it was given to him from Adam Arishon. First of all, he made this Sefer Tehillim. First of all, his existence came through davening. He understood all of the fabric of his being is through davening. Because if Adam Arishon wouldn't have davened and prayed that he should have life, he wouldn't have life. Then he understood every second, every minute of life is a gift. I got this from Adam Arishon, it's a gift. Now, Torah is telling us the key to success, the key to greatness is somebody understands every minute, every second is precious. Every second and minute you could do things is a gift. The person doesn't understand, doesn't realize the gift of life and just waste life, doesn't get any place. No matter how much talent the person has, no matter what type of background the person has, no matter what type of qualities the person has, Torah is telling us somebody understands life is the gift. It's a gift. Don't take it as granted. Then that builds up a different perspective to you. Every minute should be used. Every second should be used. Right now, coronavirus. A lot of people are sleeping in bed. They can't get oxygen properly. And they can't even daven for themselves. They're struggling for life. That should make us understand that every minute, every second of life is precious. And how much we could do a lot. In the world of coronavirus, a person feels the world is sleeping and you can't do anything, but just the opposite. The perspective of the Jew is you could conquer life, you could conquer yourself, how much you could learn, how much you should grow. Everything is down, but our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not down. Therefore, David HaMelech, realizing that every minute and second of his life is a gift, he tried to use every second and minute. Therefore, he became somebody who wrote a sefer for the Har Israel. That the highlight of the joy and happiness, they go through it. The highlight of Chazon tragedy, they go through it. It tugs the heart of the Har Israel because he put his heart into HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He put his heart for the Har Israel, and he became the heart of the Har Israel. This is what David is. Now, this David, 70 years old, Baba Yamim, in other words, Baba Yamim. Now, what does Baba Yamim mean? In other words, we have Zorin Baba Yamim. Zorin means something that the years passes by. Everybody naturally becomes a Zorin. But what does Baba Yamim mean? The Midrash says Baba Yamim means literally whatever that the word says. Baba Yamim means comes with the days. Person goes to bed in Shemala. How many days of his life is the days of eternity that he takes with himself? And how many drops he doesn't take with himself? Now, since David HaMelech understood every minute of life is precious, every minute is there to build up, to accomplish, to do something, Baba Yamim, he came to Bet HaMikdash Mala with all days of his life. There wasn't any minute, second, that he didn't accomplish something. He didn't do something. It wasn't blank. Everything was filled up with Torah, with mitzvot, with getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is okay, very good. Now, they tried to cover him with garments, but he didn't warm up. Very interesting. Imagine you are making a parliament right over here. You want to write about the Malchut. Sefer Melachim. We want to write a sefer of the kingship of the Har Israel. What's a king? What does king mean? We want to start up the sefer and talk about the kingship, the kings of the Har Israel. What are the kings? What are the... All of a sudden, the first pasuk talks to us that this king became old and Levychaim, he wasn't warm. But he wasn't warm, right? He did not become warm. Whatever they tried with the begodim to warm him up, he didn't become warm. That is the Hatchala, that's the introduction. Everybody in the world of introducing and packaging understands that the first points are very important. In Torah also, we find Hatchalot are very important. Through Hatchalot, the things comes about. Now here, the start point of the Melachim, the kingship of the Har Israel, we talk about, what we talk about? We talk about that the king couldn't warm up. Now let's see Rashi. In other words, just like Chumash, we have to learn Rashi, we have to learn Navi also with Rashi. Levychaim lo, Avraham, כל העבד בגדים, אינו נהנה מהם בסוף. לפי שקרא את כנף המאיר לשאול. Rabotenu say, now how come the begodim didn't warm him up? Why? Why didn't warm him up the begodim? Rabotenu say, כל העבד בגדים, somebody disgraces garments, אינו נהנה מהם בסוף. Finally, he doesn't get benefit from them. In other words, that's the way that Hashem created the world. You appreciate, you are grateful to the blessing of life, then you get, once you step on the blessings, you disgrace them. You don't respect the blessing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't understand recognition of this is a blessing. Just straight away, it comes to a point that you are not going to have benefit from that blessing. The fish now, where do we find David HaMelech, this king? He disgraced the begodim. He didn't respect the begodim. The fish because he cut the corner of the mail of Shaul. In other words, when Shaul was chasing after him to kill him, and he saw him sleeping someplace, his soldiers told him, kill him, destroy him. It's your enemy, he wants to kill you, kill him. He said, no, it's a Mashiach of Hashem. I don't lift up my hand against Mashiach of Hashem. Therefore, he said, what am I going to do? I'm going to let him know that I was here. He cut part of the mail of the Shaul. And because of that, in other words, it was a very noble act. In other words, it was such an unbelievable point. We talked about it last week, and we said that, simple meaning of that is that he was pogem. In other words, we said that we built up now we want to say us that all of the melech is the majesty of the melech. That's right. The father that's mocher al kevodo, the father could be mocher, forgive his kavod and honor. Melech mocher al kevodo, a king that forgives his kavod and his honor is not machur, it's not mechila. Because the king, what do we need by the king? We need the kavod. Father kavod belongs to himself. He could forgive. Melech is honor doesn't belong to himself. The majesty of the Melech is the majesty of the nation. In Torah, the Melech represents the nation. Lev Melech, Lev Rambam says. The heart of the king is the heart of the nation. The majesty of the king is very important. Without majesty, there is no king. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah, tell to Israel, Anochi Hashem Elokecha Mitzrayim. I'm the God. I accept my authority, then I give you the rules. If you don't accept my authority, always in life you should know. If people they accept you as authority, then give your opinion. If not, don't. A lot of times in Rabbanon and everything, say if you accept rabbi or somebody, not rabbi, if somebody have some conflict, if you accept his dad, then go to him and listen to him. If don't, no. Therefore, it cannot be imposed. Therefore, here the majesty of Malchut becomes very important. It has to be respected. Therefore, cutting the mail of Shaul is pointing to the Malchut, the majesty of the Malchut. And even though that he did that to save Shaul, but nevertheless, be pointing to the beged of the Melech to make that bisayon in the Malchut was not right. Therefore, he got to the weekend, therefore measure by measure, his Malchut became a weekend and he didn't have the heat of the Malchut. It's a metaphorism, that the heat of the Malchut was not there. Therefore, the Sefer Melachim is starting a very important point, that the heat of the Malchut is the majesty of the Malchut, and that's very important to be kept. If we don't keep that, we're going to lose the Malchut. That was the first Pshat in Rashi. Now, second Pshat in Rashi, Umidrash Haggadah, Omar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Kishra David Tamal Omed Roshaim, Vechabub Yadon, Istane Demo Yirato. Midrash does different. Midrash says over here, David was cold, and the garment couldn't warm him up. Now, what was the reason? Because we know that the Midrash says that David HaMelech, when they sinned, David HaMelech saw Kishra David HaMelech, Hashem shows David HaMelech that the Malach is standing Omed Yerushalayim, there's the angel standing on Yerushalayim, Vecharbo biyado, and he has the sword in his hand. In other words, that's a sign of the Churban. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed David HaMelech that the Hal Yisrael, they would sin, and he would get to the Churban. Once he saw that, it cooled down his blood because of the fear of destruction, fear of sin, that this house is going to be destroyed. That in itself made him cool down. Therefore, according to Midrash, the first pastor is talking about David saw the destruction of the Tamikdash, angel and Harbo Biyado, and through seeing that, his blood became cold, because the cold blood from the fear of the punishment, from the fear of what's going to happen to Israel with the destruction. So it's very interesting. Therefore, according to the Midrash, the peticha according to the Midrash, the peticha to the Malchut is a different type of opening. What's the opening to the Malchut according to the Midrash? In other words, we want to point out that what is the role of the Melech? What's the role of a king? What's the role of a king? One could think that the king has a prestige, has a kavod, and he has to deal with the nation. Whatever comes out, we got to do. Whatever that has to be done is to be done. But I have my kavod, my prestige comes first, and that what makes me the majesty, the greatness, the gold, silver, whatever, the palace. But the beginning of the Sefer Melachim starts that when spirituality of Kahal Israel went down, David went down. The king of Israel represents the spirituality of Kahal Israel. He is responsible to withhold the spirituality of Kahal Israel. This is his mission. The mission of a Melech is to be a device to present HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to present spirituality to the nation. Now, nationwide needs to be uplifted, and nationwide needs to have spirituality. Now, therefore, Navi Melachim starts with this point that once David HaMelech saw the Churban, he saw the Malach, the sword in his hand. What was his reaction? He became cool. He became cold. In other words, you tell somebody that you lose your position, or you somebody that you lose your. Some people lose some spirituality. It's not spiritual. That never. That's the essence of the Melech. The essence of the Melech is to understand, and the essence of the Melech is to understand and to appreciate and to be sensitive to spirituality of the nation. Once it was shown, therefore, that is the peticha to Sefer Melachim. Then Abadav told him, Yevakshu, we should search for Adonai HaMelech. We should search for our master, the king, Na'ara Betula, the Na'ara, the younger Betula virgin, should stand, should be attendant for the king, and should be born for, should become born Adonai HaMelech, by master, the king. Betula, Rashi, Betula, Mechamimin Besara. Now, Rashi says, why should it be Betula virgin? Because virgin, the heat is more. So, they would be attendant, and they would help. Now, let's see, Mr. David, Zaken Barmin, Kisaken Yamar Birashon Ben Adam, Al Hachum. Therefore, Mr. David brings about the difference between Zaken Barmin, that is Saikba. Now, Nara Betulam, then Lehiot Mochenado, Nara Yafa, Kiyufi. Now, why do you have to be Na'ara Yafa? In other words, Vayivakshu Na'ara, now let's pass to Kime, Vayivakshu Na'ara Yafa, they search Yafa, Bechol Gevol outside, of the board outside, so it Avishak Ashunamit. They found Avishak Ashunamit, Vayavu Otah Lamelech, that brought her for the king, and Na'ara Yafa Adnod, and Na'ara was very pretty. Until the Melech Suchelet, and so Melech didn't have relationship with her, intimate relationship with her. Now listen, Mr. David says, now why should we mark it on the pretty? Why should we pretty? Because the prettiness makes the heat also. No, Viluyada. Rashi says Viluyada. He didn't have intimate relationship with her. Why not? Because as long as she stays Betura is better, she could be Mechamim better than the Beura. Therefore, the purpose and the point was not having his own pleasure and gratification. The point was to give the heat. Therefore, as long as she stays Betula, she gives more heat. Now, we should be able to Nashim. Now, Rabbeinu say that he didn't have a relationship. Why? Because the Melech process Nashim. He's not supposed to have more wives. And the Gemara learns that more wives means 18 wives she could have. 18 wives she could have, not more than 18. And David HaMelech already had 18 wives. Therefore, to have intimate relationship with her, suppose she has to become his wife. And at this point was also for him to have extra wife. Therefore, Chazal say that here what happened was that he didn't have intimate relationship, not to become as a wife for her. And she was Yafa Meod. Amelech didn't have a relationship with her. Therefore, that was the story over here that here therefore now very interesting. Now if you understand, now the Navi told us that it wasn't, he was called because of two reasons. One reason is Chazal understand he was called because he because he disgraced the begodim, the begodim didn't give him heat. And the other reason is that he said Charbo Shalufa. Now, how does Betula pretty much helps here? What does the Betula helps? In other words, here, how does Betula helps in the direction of the Chazal, the word of Chazal? How should we understand here the virgin Betula to? In other words, if we say that it disgraced the majesty of the Malchut, now here is the metaphorism that the young Kahal Israel like a virgin, like a Betula. Betula builds up, Betula makes the new home, Betula brings the vitality, brings vibrance, brings the radiance, and that was the hope of David HaMelech. In other words, what is being said to David HaMelech, yes, it's a cool time, but you should know that the Kahal Israel as a whole is the young virgin girl. Young virgin girl has a lot of potential. Maybe right now it's just a girl, but Besad Hashem, she produces a family, becomes a great nation. And even though that the Malchut, the heat of the Malchut is gone, and right now you see that because of what happened, the Malchut is not the way that should be, but don't worry. Exactly virgin. Virgin builds up, virgin makes. And the idea over here is, we are studying Stephen Melachim, that the idea of a Melech is to understand that the Kahal Israel will never cease to exist. All of the obstacles on the way, we should know it's just the obstacle on the way. There is a young virgin girl. The Kahal Israel is a young virgin girl. They have the potential, they have the kobach, they have the merit. Just a young virgin girl, a power, a vitality, as energetic, and she could build up, she could make. Here also, it's going to happen, it's going to be there, and that was the Nechama for David HaMelech. Now we goes to another subject. Adonia ben Chagid mitaselemo. Adonia was the son of Chagid mitaselemo. He was saying he was claiming kingdom. He was claiming that he's the king. He was he exalted himself. He exalted himself. Ani emloch. I'm going to become king. And he made for himself, I provided for himself chariot and riders, riders, ish, and 15 men to run before him, to show that he's the Melech. And his father had never saddened him, to admonish him. Atzavo means to make somebody sad, to admonish him. Miyamav is life lemor. Madua kochasita. Why do you do like that? Become who? Why do that means that we know that the successor of David HaMelech is Shlomo HaMelech, not Adoniah ben Chagit. We should have admonished him. Become who tov to Armot, and he was very handsome. He was very handsome, very handsome. To Armot, very handsome. Oto Yalda, and he was born Achari Avshalom, after Avshalom. And his word was, he discussed his intentions with Yoav, Im Yoav ben Seruya, with Eviatar HaKohen, Vayazru Achari Adoniyahu, and these two people, that they had something in their mind against David HaMelech and against Shlomo, they didn't want Shlomo becomes the king, therefore they followed after Adoniyahu. Sadok HaKohen Ubeniyahu ben Yoyada, therefore the Sadok HaKohen Ubeniyahu ben Yoyada, Yoyada ben Natan HaNavi, and Navi Natan, V'Shiv'i V'Rei, V'Shimi V'Rei, V'Hagipol Masher David, and the mighty ones of David, mighty men of David, Asher David, that belong to David, Lo Hayu Im Adoniyahu, they were with Adoniyahu. Vayizbach Adoniyahu son Bakar, and Adoniyahu slaughtered son sheep and bakar and cow, umri, and the fat sheep and fat sheep. Mary means fat sheep, and fatted bull, and Mary means fatted bull. If Eben Zochelet, next to Eben Zochelet, that's next to the Enroger, and he called all of his brothers, Bnei HaMelech, the children of the Melech, and all of the people of Yehuda, Avdei HaMelech, the servant of the king. With Natan HaNavi ben Yahu, with Akiporim, with Shlomo, Achiv lo hara. To Natan HaNavi ben Yahu, and the mighty ones, and Shlomo HaMelech, that Shlomo that was supposed to become a king, lo hara didn't invite. Natan Batsheva. Now, therefore, there is a scene here. What is it? Oh, now, let's see. Is it good? Okay, very good. Now, let's see what's happening here. Now, next question over here is, who is going to be the successor of David HaMelech? Now, David HaMelech had a wife in the name of Chagit, and she had a son from David in the name of Adoniah. He was claiming the kingdom, and he says that I'm a king. And he made the chariot and idols 15 for David. Rashi, in other words, he didn't sadden him. He didn't admonish him. Rashi, Lamitra, Shamoni Atoha Mine Beto, Mibeno, Mibredemita. Torah wants to teach you, Shamoni Atoha Mibeno. In other words, Torah says the father did admonish him, and we see that later on it caused death to him. Now, there are a lot of times not admonishing the children properly. Rabbi Achzal wants to teach us that to bring the child to the mitah. Therefore, here there is a point of chinuch. In other words, aviv. In other words, when he was claiming that and proclaiming that, the father had to stand to stop him, tell him that this is not right. The father didn't interfere. The father didn't rebuke him, and through that, since though he didn't rebuke him, in other words, why are you doing that? Shlomo HaMelech is the king, and through that he caused him to death. Now, what's the point that we learn from this? We learn from this, in other words, you can learn from this that if you see that your child is doing something wrong, you have to rebuke him right away, and you have to admonish him that, if I don't do that. Now, Rambam says, the purpose of rebuking is mahsir ol mutar. Unfortunately, some people think the purpose of rebuking is to scream and tell the person that you did something wrong. But Rambam tells us the purpose of rebuking is not just screaming at somebody and telling him you did something wrong, or you let out your anger, or you show your knowledge of knowing more than him. No. Rambam says the purpose of rebuking is machzir lemutar, to return it back to the past. Therefore, it's a very great responsibility for a person to how to rebuke. Sometimes not saying something is the greatest rebuke, because this way you could return him back. When you say it's worse, when you say you make it worse, you make sure that he shouldn't do it. That's not called rebuke. It's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to see into it. How could I return him back? A lot of times keeping quiet, a lot of times with love, a lot of times with good intention. And somebody came to Gadol Hador and told him that my father is not Shomer Shabbat, and it's very painful for me. What should I do? Every Shabbat we get into argument and fight. What should I do? The Gadol told him, do you want your father to become Shomer Shabbat? Do you know what you do? Go and wash his car. What does that mean? Go and wash his car. He said, don't rebuke him. He knows. Build up a relationship with him. Rambam, Machzir Mutav. Seek into it. Search. Find out. What's the best way you could convey the message to him? What's the best way you could get him to do whatever that's right thing? And nowadays, especially nowadays, any type of rebuke, any type of harshness doesn't work. All of the Gedolei Israel, all of the Gedolim, everybody says nowadays harshness doesn't work. What could we do? In other words, the principle stays the same. If a person is not mechanech his children properly, is not good. It doesn't stop us from chinuch. The only thing is, Torah tells us, machzir lemutar, return to the good. Sometimes you have to build up. The Rabbi Sarantar says, their olam hazeh is our olam haba. Sometimes we have to deal with them in olam hazeh. We have to talk about the sport with them. We have to talk about the things that they like, that they should see, that we could relate to them. We could be with them. Once talking like that and relating like that, through that we could get them. If we say, no, it's nothing, what are you saying? Olam hazeh, all is nothing. Why do you, then what's going to happen? He says, okay, this father, I can't relate to this father. I can't relate to this rabbi. I cannot relate. And he blocks all of the gates to himself. Therefore, here, Atzavu brings it to Mita means you have to be concerned how to make the chinuch. You have to point out, you have to say little by little. And the other thing is to get good friends, good family friends. And the family friends should make it. مدرک و خواستا بگم هو تو نه بگم هو تو راشی که ابشالوم شما که ابشالوم رها یا ایش یافه بیگار مالهم شدید کاو now هو تو مرمود in other words he was very handsome like now why does now it tells us that he was very handsome? Now he's telling us sometimes some of the blessings that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives to us works against us. In other words, he was very handsome and that's why people liked him. He had such attraction. He got people because of his being handsome. Garmalo. Rashi says that Garmalo. The worst thing in life is the blessing that the person has, the person doesn't use the blessing properly. And the blessing will turn over to curse for him. That's the worst thing that could happen to a person in his life. And it's the word with people that they had something against David. الشوارع امنه و امسا و ابشالوم و سفوش تصویت بنو همول اختختا والا بذکر خیالات سشتیم this all of these people Rashi explains that they had something against the Melech. Therefore, during the beginning of the Melachim, Torah is telling us all of the inner of politics. In other words, this doesn't like this Melech, he goes against this Melech. David Melech did whatever that was supposed to do, the right things he does. Therefore, if you are in charge and you do the right thing and you expect that everybody should be with you and everybody follows you, you're wrong. They came to somebody and told him that, this person is against you so much. What did you do to him? And then he was thinking, he tells himself, I never did any chesed to him, any kindness to him. He said, why? Why do you think? See, whenever that you do kindness and chesed to somebody, later on, they're going to be against you. but I never did something to him that he should feel like that. Therefore, I don't know what I do. B'ezrat Hashem, we shall continue. Okay.